All right, all right. So deck tech for companionless um, Saga burn. So what does going companionless do for us? Well, one thing it does for us in the main, which is not a lot, but first and foremost, and most importantly, we get to play Searing Blaze, and I think, and I think this almost kind of makes it worth it all by itself. Now the double red can be a problem sometimes. If we're relying a lot on Urza Saga for mana, as we can see sometimes when we have to use the colorless source for the stomp with Bone Crusher Giant in the Obosh version of this, which is very similar. But if we can come up with the 2 red mana, I think it's way more efficient than Bone Crusher Giant because we don't actually have to pay the 3 mana to play the giant. We kind of get like an extra spell, sort of like a Lava Spike to the face, just for 1 mana instead of 3, basically. Well, I mean, not exactly the same comparison because a 4/3 that dings the opponent for 2 when it's targeted is obviously better than a Lava Spike most of the time, but comparing a 3 mana card like that to a 1 mana Lava Spike is a little difficult, but suffice it to say, since this deck is very low to the ground and very aggressive, I think most of the time Searing Blaze is going to be better than Bone Crusher Giant, so that's one advantage. We could try to squeeze Bone Crusher Giant here too, but honestly, I don't know what I'd take out. And the only, I think the only possible option would be Monastery Swiftspear, but I just think this card fits the theme of the deck just too well. It hits very hard. It doesn't give them card advantage like Goblin Guide. It has haste. I mean, it's just like one of the best aggressive creatures ever, and it helps round out the aggressive package. So I think this card's got to be it. But yeah. We are playing 2 fetch lands, so we can enable Searing Blaze and instant speed. And honestly, they're probably not necessary. They're taking the spot of Shinka and Sokenzen. The bottom line is that we can't really play more than 2 fetches, and the only way we can play 2 fetches really is just by cutting the non-mountain lands. Because if we play like 4 fetches, then we have 4 fetches chasing 4 mountains. So we're going to run ourselves out of mountains potentially in too many games. And yeah, sure, we could play Sokenzen and Shinka and play 2 fetch lands, so we could have 2 fetches, chasing 4 mountains. But I still find that a bit unacceptable because there will be more games than we'd like to admit where we draw, like, say, 2 mountains. Like how many games do we have, like 2 mountains in our hands or something, and those could be the only two of the 4 mountains in our deck. And then, well, I guess, and then at that point, like, we pretty much have to draw fetch lands before we draw another mountain, because if we draw another mountain, then we could very easily run out of mountains. Plus, on top of that, if they Path to Exile us even once, or Field of Ruin or something, or Boseiju, which is seeing a lot of play now, then very quickly our fetch lands are going to become dead. So, you can make the argument that we probably shouldn't even bother with the fetch lands in the first place, but since we're playing Searing Blaze, I do like the idea of at least turning on the possibility to play at instant speed. It also has, extremely minor value as for thinning the deck, but this is not a super draw heavy build, so honestly it's mostly just for the instant speed Searing Blaze, which, that might not be necessary, but I like having 2 fetch lands when I'm playing Searing Blaze. The other card that we have access to when we're playing Companionless is Shatterskull Smashing. And yeah, what is Shatterskull Smashing? It's taking the place of Spikefield Hazard in the Obosh list. And Spikefield Hazard can go to the face, which sometimes, actually, even for 1 damage, does make a difference. So it's not even 100% clear that it's better than Spikefield Hazard, but, we do have 8 1-mana burn spells, Galvanic Blast and Lightning Bolt, to deal with, like, say, opposing turn 1 Ragavans. And Shatterskull Smashing, I mean, it might not be better than Spikefield Hazard, but sometimes it is. It is, for example, if we want to pay 4 and deal with like 2/1 toughness creatures, or if we want to pump more mana into it to clear something bigger out of the way. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to like spring for the extra money to buy these, because these I think are getting kind of expensive, they're probably totally unnecessary. But I just kind of I'd like to think that these are at least marginally better than either Mountain or Spikefield Hazard, so that I feel a little extra rewarded, because just dropping Obosh just for Searing Blaze feels a little bit, you know, meh. So I mean, it could be flawed thinking, but but I have liked Shatterskull Smashing a lot. I really have, and I think I might do a strategy sort of video one of these days, explaining kind of my theory behind like why I think I did this a little bit before, but kind of my big picture of why I like certain cards, why I favor certain cards, and the thing that I think I like about utility lands in general, but specifically lands like Shatterskull Smashing, I don't necessarily favor, ironically, cards like fetch lands, which is kind of odd because they are usually the ones most favored. The thing I don't like about fetch lands, although I am playing 2 in this deck, which I think 2 is 2 is fine, but I also don't like maxing out on these if I don't have to. But the thing I don't like about fetch lands is they force you to lose 1 life, and that's important because that means that they do get turned off when you go down to like 1 life. You know what I mean? I like cards that give you options. And the thing I like about Shatterskull Smashing is, yeah, it can potentially Lightning Bolt us for 3, whereas fetch lands will only take 1. But it could also come into play tapped for 0 damage. And there will be some turns where we can put this in a plate for tapped. I mean, tapped and not take any damage. So this, like in matchups where we can't take the damage, we can play this tapped. And in matchups where we don't care about the damage, we can do that. And I think flexibility is very king. And far be it from me to say that I have cracked the code, so to speak, to say definitively that Shatterskull Smashing is better than the alternatives, even if we're going companionless. But I'm going to play this until I feel like my win rate forces me to think of alternatives. I have very much liked it, and it doesn't jump out to me as something that, like I said, is definitively better than the alternatives, but it does jump out to me as something that is very close to being free because of that ability to take damage in matchups where it doesn't really matter, and to come into play tapped and not take damage in matchups where damage is very important. Now, coming into play tapped will almost always, in a deck that, you know, is so low to the ground, almost always slow us down at least a little bit, so that is something to consider. But in general, another thing about me is I just I really prefer losing to if I'm gonna lose for some reason, it's weird, it's like a psychological thing, but I'm okay to lose to like Exacxi, sort of, like if I take like a lightning bolt to the face, but like I still have cards to play, and like it was kind of competitive back and forth. Whereas one thing I hate is I hate losing when I just draw a bunch of useless lands and the opponent just steamrolls me, and then I'm just holding a fistful of lands. Now, that could just be flawed thinking. It's like, and you know, and to some extent it is if that's all it is. But I think it's not just sort of a psychological hitch, I think, or clutch or whatever. I think there is something to be said about, like I said before, cards that give you options. And yeah, what can I what can I say? Even if I take a loss, I think I'll take less losses overall, and I think that overall there's something to be said that when I do take a loss, for example, with if I took too much damage from Shatterskull Smashing, there is more likelihood that there's a possibility I misplayed, and it's because I maybe should have played it tapped or something. But when you just draw a fistful of like mountains that have no utility, and then you just dive to the opponent, you know, like at the end of the day, you had no control. And I think there is something to be said. I do think your win rate probably does improve the more cards you fill your deck with that give you more control over the game and make it less just at the mercy of how many basics come off the top of your library, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's basically that. Otherwise, this is basically identical to the Obosh version, which I think should be probably in the last league that went up, I think. There's actually a possibility I might just go back to the old Obosh burn version, to be honest. But anyway, we'll see. I do like this version too, actually, man. I do like it a lot. But yeah, a sideboard is basically the same as the Obosh version as well, with some critical differences. Blast zones are basically Ratchet Bombs. Well, actually, Ratchet Bomb is kind of like a combination of a Shattering Spree and Blast Zone, because it does hit Chalice, unlike Blast Zone, but like Shattering Spree. But it also can hit enchantments like Blast Zone. I mean, you know, it's not exactly a one-for-one type of comparison, but it also, the main reason why I prefer Ratchet Bomb if I do have access to it is because it can deal with the Rhinos tokens, which is pretty important, all things, you know, all things considered. And Chalice of the Void might seem odd in a deck that has almost all 1-drops, but the thing to keep in mind is that most of the time we're bringing this in against Cascade decks, and we basically don't play anything on 0. We don't play Mistress Bauble, so this card absolutely does still have utility even if we're not playing it on 1. On top of that, we can easily just take out the Searing Blazes or just leave them in and just be fine with them getting cut off by Chalice on 2, but we could even just take out the Searing Blazes if need be against decks like Burn, for example, that do play a pretty healthy amount of 2-drops. And suddenly Chalice on 2 actually can be pretty backbreaking for a lot of opponents. Like against Storm, for example, a lot of times it just shuts them down. To some extent, Merfolk too, but you have to make sure you have an answer to Aether Vial, which you can with Ratchet Bomb, but unfortunately Ratchet Bomb itself costs 2. So, but then we do have Pithing Needle actually. So actually, if we can reliably either cast Pithing Needle or fetch it off of Urza Saga against Aether Vial against Merfolk, for example, and if they don't really have a good answer to it, suddenly Chalice on 2. I wouldn't want to say completely locks out Merfolk because they do have Civilone, if that's how you pronounce it, or Svian, whatever. Anyway, you know, but like you mostly shut off Merfolk if they don't have Cavern or Souls. But you know, I wouldn't, when you don't see too much Merfolk, and I don't care so much about shutting off Merfolk. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of decks where you can play this on 2, and even 3 for that matter. Although 3 is usually like kind of way getting out there, but 2 is not too difficult. We hit 4 mana pretty reliably, and you know, we can curve out to 4 in most games pretty easily with effectively 24 lands, 20 lands plus Shatterskull Smashing. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Chalice on 0 and 2 are basically free in this deck, and even though Chalice on 1 is historically the main reason people play this card, I would say actually Chalice on 0 has become the new best number to play Chalice on in this new Cascade world, at least if you're playing it on the sideboard. And Chalice on 2 is not too far behind. There's a lot of good 2-drops. Our second best, that is. And important to keep in mind against decks like Ad Nauseam that most of the time pretty much have to play Spoils of the Vault in order to win. Chalice on 1, it does screw us over, but you know, even if we play Chalice on 1, we can still try to get there with any creatures we dropped before Chalice on 1 came down, and Urza Saga tokens that get cracked out, or Den of the Bugbear. Like, we do still have, you know, avenues to win. And against some decks like Ad Nauseam, like if it's a choice between playing Chalice on 1 or losing on the spot and trying to win with your Sagas and your Den of the Bugbearers and whatnot, like a lot of times, I mean, you will win more games having the option to do that, even though it's kind of a double-edged sword to say the least. If it's either that or losing, obviously this is the lesser of two evils, so to speak, and something that could end up just winning the game. Shadow Spear and Pithing Needle, I think, need no further introduction. These are also in the Obosh version, and you know, Planeswalkers, all that good stuff, any activated ability. Shadow Spear, like, you know, I see so many players play this in the main deck, but, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The vast majority of matchups, you just don't really need it, and most of the time, I think it's probably going to be a pretty severe mistake not to search up another Pyrite Spellbomb or a Bomat Courier. But in a very few amount of matchups, mostly Burn, but to some extent certain Prowess type matchups that are more aggressive, this can certainly be helpful, and it's good to have access to it. Also, I think Yawgmoth, because sometimes the Trample, there aren't too many decks where the Trample specifically is super useful, but Yawgmoth is one of them. They just spew so many little creatures out, and sometimes you can like get through to Grist, for example. And then you get Bag of Holding, and honestly, this card may not be necessary, but just like with the the non-burn based you know, Sagavan list that I've been playing, Bag of Holding, which has Bag of Holding as well. Although unlike with the non-bird version, you know, the non-bird version has more 2 and 3 drops and 4 drops and whatnot, so Chalice on 1 is not like lights out. But if we ever do find ourselves in a situation where we have to put Chalice on 1, or if we're playing against an opponent that might be playing Chalice, Bag of Holding can just be pretty good because, you know, it's a little clunky and a little slow, but you know, keep in mind you can always pay for it to cash it in. But at the end of the day, it can just be the difference between winning and losing if we can cash in a bunch of dead cards that might be being shut off by Chalice. So that's kind of the thinking there. It may not necessarily always work out that way, but I have definitely not been overly disappointed. So anyway, that's what the decks go. That's what the deck is. Let's see how the games go. All right, match one, and again, this one actually could be a little bit quick because we are keeping and we are playing, and we are doing some post-league, post-match, commentary, and we're going to be doing this for all 5 videos this time. It looks like we're up against Murktide. This was a good keep. Oh no, actually, yeah, I forgot. This is actually Izzet Prowess. So I think Izzet Prowess has got to be one of our best matchups. Now, yeah, this was a little bit concerning because yeah, I did not want to do this. I was hoping to just untap and Searing Blaze. Now, if they would have actually held up the gut shot, I might have just been completely out of luck. But anyway, let's try doing this. Yeah, and of course, and I actually, I'm not necessarily proud of this, but I failed to realize that this, that playing 2 spells, this one and then the Searing Blaze would allow them to pump it. I really have come to hate this card, like, not because it's bannable or anything. I'm absolutely not saying it's bannable. This is just an example, in my opinion, of annoying card design. Like, I would have felt so much better if like, instead of it conniving on my turn, instead it was like every other spell or something you play. Now that might have been kind of broken, but like, there had to be a less annoying way. I mean, honestly, did it really need to trigger on my turn? It still would have been pretty good, I think, if it was just on their turn. Would it be playable? Probably. I mean, but honestly, it's just a design. I think it's a poor design choice. I would have much preferred if somehow they boosted a little bit. I'm not sure how they could. Giving it another point of toughness seems excessive when it already has 3, effectively 4, a lot of times, right off the bat. I don't know. I guess they could give it. Like Vigilance seems a little excessive too. I guess they could give it First Strike. Who gives a hoot about First Strike? Haste maybe seems a little excessive, and why would blue have haste anyway? Look, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, folks. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm just saying that, like, there had to have been a way they could have designed this where it would have had the same power level, but it wouldn't have that annoyance factor where it triggers on my turn. Anyway, I don't want this to just be a rants video, so let's go to the next match. Okay, match 1, game 2, and let's see how we sideboarded here first, so I don't forget. Yeah, Ragavan is just a lightning rod for lava darts in this matchup, which we didn't see, or gut shots, or both, whichever the case may be. So if I remember this correctly, I think we took out Ragavan for Ratchet Bomb, which I completely endorse. Yeah, I completely endorse that because Ratchet Bomb is an excellent way to clear multiple DRCs, prowess creatures, etc., etc. And I think I did the unthinkable here, and I think I took out 4 Bomat Couriers, which, for the same reason as Ragavan, they're just too much of a lightning rod for the lava darts and gut shots. I think I did the unthinkable, and I brought in 2 chalices, 1 bag of holding, and 1 shadow spear. In retrospect, bag of holding is probably unnecessary. Chalice on, I think this is one of those rare matchups where chalice on 1 still might be good, despite the fact that it hoses us. It could just be the difference between like buying us a little extra turn from burn, but in retrospect, chalice is probably not a good. I don't know. Let's not forget, we can always play chalice on 2 with almost impunity. Yeah, I don't know. In retrospect, maybe I should have just ditched all of that nonsense. Just had 3 Bomat Couriers and 1 Shadow Spear. The Bomat Couriers can still be a nice fetch off Urza Saga, unlike Ragavan. So I don't know. This is a tricky matchup to sideboard. We could have also just left the Ragavans in, just gone for it. But either way, fortunately we didn't have like great sideboarding options in this match. But thankfully this is a hand that doesn't have any awkwardness like we were worried about. Okay. Yeah, we're going to Galv Blast that at end of turn. Yeah. And see, having that option to play this tap could be very critical. Are they going to play Sprite Dragon? Okay, DRC. I could have played Urza Saga, but I guess I'm going to try to keep up Bloodstained Mire. Yeah, and in case they have like a mutagenic growth, actually I guess mutagenic growth would save it anyway, but I don't know. In case they just gave up. All right, we'll take it. All right, match one, game three, same sideboarding as before. Actually, we seem to have taken the 2 chalices out. I think we realized the error of our ways, and we just put 2 Bomat Couriers back in. Yeah, I can get behind that. I don't know about the bag of holding, though, to be honest, if we don't have our own chalice. So, probably would have just put the 3rd Bomat in, but whatever. We'll see. You know, we're adopting the more control role. I mean, I guess so. That hand was just, didn't have much action. I have got a feeling that this hand is, not going to be so good, but I think this might actually end up working out. Oh yeah, they play a Dragon's Claw in this one. Not a good choice in my opinion. I think it takes us a while to fight through that thing, but at the end of the day, we can totally outgrind that thing. We play Ratchet Bomb just because it makes it awkward if they play 2 things. Oh, and we can take this up to 2 and deal with both Ledger Shredder and Dragon's Claw. But if they're not going to play anything else, I think we're going to just deal with Ledger Shredder right now. Play Experimental Frenzy. Play Mountain. Play this. Now, this, yeah. The Engineer Explosives could be a problem, but of course they would also kill their Dragon Rage Channeler. So it'd be like a 2 for 2. 3 if you count the Experimental Frenzy. Interesting. I guess we'll just do this to juice more tokens. I'm surprised that I cracked the Experimental Synthesizer. But by no means do I think that's a bad choice. We always have the option to crack Relic, which is not a great option, but it is an option. Okay. I guess we're just cracking this here, aren't we? Yeah, I can't guarantee you for sure that this is a great use of our mana and everything, but I can tell you that I think we're coming out ahead here in the grind department. Okay. Let's pyrite it up. Alrighty. Let's get rid of their graveyard by little. Right, dragon. Yeah, I think we're gonna just put this on 2 and deal with both. Why not? All right. Do we get a Bomat Courier? We might. And they just give up. All right, cool stuff. Alrighty, match 2, game 1. This is a keepable hand. It's not the best hand ever, but it's definitely keepable. And this is almost assuredly Amulet Titan. Oh, never mind. Actually, this is a Mono Blue Tron, which I think is actually a significantly better matchup for us. In fact, yeah, this is where aggro is significantly better than mid-range, because these decks go over the top of mid-range. Alright, that's fine. Let's just do this. Let's see if they blow it. That's fine. I think we don't want to overdo it. Ooh, so we can play Bomat. I like it. I like it, like it. Alrighty, as I just remembered. Hopefully they don't hit Tron and then go nuts. We have to see, right? I mean, we're definitely getting another last Bomat Courier here. Okay, fine. Ready? Let's see here. Okay, you win on that one. Okay, not bad. I mean, I can't complain here. Yeah, and I guess we'll Galv Blast on their upkeep. Alright, cool stuff. Alright. Excuse the minor coughing, but yeah, so let's do match 2, game 2. Sideboarding. Honestly, I think all we basically did was bring in Bag of Holding and Pithing Needle, and what we took out was Searing Blazes. No, yeah, we put in Mages of the Moon for Searing Blaze, and then we took out 2 Relic of Progenitus, I don't know, and we put in Pithing Needle and Bag of Holding. And I think the reason why I put Bag of Holding is on the off chance that they play Chalice, but I think almost certainly they play Chalice. So I think in retrospect, I probably should have just played 4 Ratchet Bombs. It probably would have been better, or 3 Ratchet Bombs and 1 Bag of Holding. We'll see how this all goes. Yeah, this is a keep if I've ever seen it. Hopefully they don't instantly deal with Ragavan, which they might. Okay, well they didn't instantly deal with it with this member at least. Okay, that's a little bit of an issue. Let's do Synthesizers. Hopefully we'll draw into the land. Nope. Yeah, and this could be rough for us. This could be very rough. I think we just get mana screwed here from here on out. Yeah, and that's just that. We just scoop. Alright. Alright. Match 2, game 3. Yeah, let's see if our sideboarding situation looks like. I think it's the same thing. Yeah. Alright. We might just drop the Magi. No, actually, I want to see if I can crank out some tokens first. Squeeze them out before. And in retrospect, I probably should have played Shattering Spree. No, I guess I couldn't. You know, but I'm getting a little nervous because if they drop another Tron land, if they just have natural Tron, like why would I just forfeit the game? Okay, well you know what? Actually, I thought I played Magus, but I guess I decided to live life a little bit on the risky side. Although, yeah, I guess I'll get that, and then I'll play Magus. Now the problem here, and I apologize for this, is there was no reason not to play a Shatterskull Smashing out. I know that they play Condescend. I just kind of brain farted. Damn it. The good news is I think I can still recover. It's fine. Still deal 4 damage. Yeah. See, this is the nice thing about these burn-oriented type builds, is that we can still, you know, get bailed out with just like dealing 8 damage off these 2 Galv Blasts. You know, for example. Like, wow. All right. Okay, match 3, game 1. Let's go. Yeah, this is keepable. We're probably going to play Shatterskull because we don't want to give them the opportunity to Inquisition that out of our hand. That would suck. It looks like it's Murktide. And you know what? If Murktide is going to be a huge part of the meta, which it looks like it is, Urza Saga seems to do pretty well against it. Yeah, I'm just going to take this opportunity to Searing Blaze. Seems like pretty good use of opportunity. You know, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have just dashed it, but I think I can get behind this. Yeah, and we're going to try to Galv Blast. Yep. And play Swiftspear. We're going to try to Pyrite Spellbomb. See what they do about this. We can at least crash in with Swiftspear. That's another cool thing about this deck is like getting stuck on 2 mana is nowhere near as big of a deal than if, like, say we had Seasoned Pyromancer in the deck and it got stuck in our hand. So there are clear advantages to the more aggro builds. This feels like a blast from the past, playing a more aggro-ish kind of deck. We can't deal with them dropping a Murktide, so let's just play it safe. I would counter this if I were them. Let's see if they do. Okay. Okay. Well, we still bring ourselves a little closer to another mountain. I guess we shall see, right? Got to do this now, and I'm sure they have a counter spell. It's fine. Alrighty. Yeah, let's just get rid of this thing now. Expressive Iteration. I'm going to Experimental Frenzy, I think. Dang it. That is a problem. I really wish I would have waited in retrospect. But it kind of seemed like maybe hitting a red drop playing Ragavan would have been pretty clever. Well, we're doing it again. If at first you don't succeed, right? Try again. Ah, that sucks. We know they're going to deal with the Samurai. But, you know, maybe not. We shall see. Okay, wait, no, maybe not. So maybe this did turn out to be pretty good. We're going to be able to crash in there. Interesting. Yeah, I think I'd rather just have the treasure token. We could end up living to regret that. Man, we're close to killing them. Yeah, that Blood Moon, that might have just saved them. We can't hit with Bugbear. If we had hit with Bugbear, let's see, we might get like our own. We could, ironically, if we hit Murktide, we could have cast it, but it is what it is. Hopefully, they don't have Lightning Bolt. I bet you they do, though. How much you bet they do? Or they hit our own Lightning Bolt. No, they didn't hit our Lightning Bolt, but they had their own. All right, match 3, game 2. Yeah, I think we're basically main boarded. And I'll bring in Pithing Needle, Shatterskull, or Bag of Holding. Yeah, I think we're main boarded. Even though we lost game 1, we're just trusting that that was bad variance, and I do think it really is. I'm confident that we're favored in this matchup, so I don't think I need to sideboard. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see if I'm right or not. I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything. I just think that's just kind of a matter of fact. Maybe I shouldn't have played that out, but it seems good enough to me. Well, they're tapped out, you know. Yeah, it's fine. I'll just do this. Reveals Lightning Bolt, which we actually could have casted if we hadn't played that, but it's okay. Alright, that's fine. See if our Bomat Courier gets there. The little Bomat that could. Doesn't look like. Yeah, we're going to Spellbomb it. Or we're going to Galvanic Blast. Alright, you know, whatever. Maybe we can actually crash him with Bugbear. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, or Experimental Frenzy. Also always nice. And let's see if the little Bomat that could can start racking up. Oh, looks like it connected. Always good. Okay, let's see. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, let's just try to connect with the Swiftspears. This could be a mistake if they, yeah, you know what, at the end of the day, them drawing 2 cards might have been worse, because if they draw Murktide, then we kind of just lose. I'm definitely going to block the Ragavan. Oh, maybe not. I thought I would have blocked the Ragavan, but, you know, there's definitely a good argument to be made to just not be concerned about that. I'll take it, you know. We're going to be patient, and hopefully they don't have Murktide. Try to Lightning Bolt the Ragavan. That Samurai token is a little annoying, but okay, fine, fine. Well, Urza Saga would have been nice, but I still feel pretty good about this game. I think we can probably take it. Alrighty. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I'm just gonna block. I don't want that Ragavan hitting me again. Took my Urza Saga. Let's see. They keep hitting my frickin' Urza Sagas. At least they can't cast them. Well, you know what? What are we doing here? Well, I guess we're gonna block with Bugbear. I guess we have to, right? We can block the Samurai token. Oh, they don't attack. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not sure what that accomplishes. Probably should have removed the sack the Ramunap Ruins. We'll see. See if they would have played yeah, we're just gonna do this even though we could get more damage. But see if they would have Archmage's Charm themselves, it could have been better. We'll see. All I gotta do is just draw some type of burn spell for that Samurai token, and I think I'm in pretty good shape. I am further into my deck than they are, for what it's worth. 30 to 40. 30 to 40, 39, excuse me. Ooh, this could be dicey. I think we're going to have to crack the Relic. let's do this. I guess we'll do this. Yeah, we'll wait on it. Yeah, you know what? I mean, playing around Spell Pierce could have been an option, but at this point, I'm just going to risk it. I don't want to use my other Shatterskull Smashing, because this thing can deal like 12 damage if need be. And while it's kind of overkill here, it still is an option. I don't know that it had to be exactly 3, but I guess why not, right? Ah, so many lands, but I don't think we're in such bad shape here. I really don't. And I think they conceded. All right, match 3, game 3. Same, no sideboarding. Let's go. Yeah, and I think I'm willing to risk. Okay, I mean, if they want to Spell Pierce this, be my guest. Okay, and they might be trying to set up for Murktide. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. Oh, another Spell Pierce. Okay, good. Yeah, if they had another Spell Pierce, I would have kind of doubted if we had what it took to win, but you know, they didn't have it all, as they say. Let's do this. Okay, that's fine. I guess we'll dash, because... Okay, fine. Now, unfortunately, if they have Murktide here, we're in trouble. But if they don't have it in their hand, which it looks like they don't, yeah, not bad. Let's see. More removal. Fine. We'll play some Sagas, and then if we get to hit our Relic, yeah, then I think we're going to be in. I think everything's going to be all right now. Everything's going to be all right. Yeah, I got to get that. You know, in retrospect, I probably should have Galv Blasted first. But, you know, it is what it is. I might want to save it for creatures, although bringing them out 5 is a pretty big game. I guess I can just bolt that. I don't know why I didn't bolt it in a turn and then attack with Bugbear, but it turns out I got bailed out by drawing Searing Blaze, which probably was the best use of my mana there. You know, now I'm glad actually I held on to the Galv Blast. Who would have thought? Oh, okay. I guess we'll just lightning bolt that then, and then we can hit them with Bugbear, and then basically we've got them at 2, where Ramunap Ruins kills them. So I think we'll do that. Yeah. And yeah, Murktide, not bad. Let's see. I'm not sure if they realize yet. You know, like Fist of the North Star. Don't you know you are already dead? Nunny! Ramunap Ruins. I don't think they know they're already dead. Like the whole, you know, all those electricity shocks coming out of the body from Fist of the North Star. All right, match 4, game 1. Let's go. Now, because of the double Experimental Synthesizer, I am okay to keep this, and because of the Ragavan, because the synthesizers, they will always draw me into more lands, basically. Well, you know what? I've got a bad feeling about this. So basically, the formula is simple. If they curve out into Tron, then they win. If not, which it looks like they don't, thankfully, maybe because I took their Tron land, I might actually burn them out now. Just getting a little bit of that extra juice. All right, and they concede. All right, match 4, game 2. What's the sideboard plan? Yeah, I don't think there is. Oh yeah, Pithing Needle. We take out 1 relic for 1 Pithing Needle. That makes sense. And we take out and we put in take out Searing Blaze for Magus of the Moon. Makes sense because obviously they're a Tron deck. That was a little tempting, but I think at the end of the day, you know what? In retrospect, maybe we had to try and keep that. I think I'm leading on Swiftspear because I'm probably going to want to play Experimental Frenzy, and I need to dish out as much damage as possible. You know, we'll see. Yeah, realistically, they hit Tron on curve, so even Magus, if I hit Magus on curve for the last hand. Yeah, Theric Tusk actually is easily we can easily win through. But the problem is you see, even if we had Magus, at this point we just have to hope that they. All right, yeah, it's not good. That's not good. Yeah, this is not good. But I guess we can play Pithing Needle. So at least there's that. How much you want to bet they have Boseiju? Oh, they have Boseiju now. Boom. Alrighty. Okay. I guess we'll just do this. Ragavan, fine. I don't know. Where this leads, who knows? Okay. I think this one goes on for a little while. I think if I remember this game correctly, I think we hit that Ujin for a while. I don't know why we just didn't attack with Den of the Bugbear. Not sure if we could, actually. We can now, that's for sure. I think we could have. I don't know why we didn't. Alright, let's go. Oh, because they had Boseiju, I think. I don't know how we knew that, if so. Anyway, no, I don't think they had Boseiju. Yeah, they're digging. And they're digging like they've never digged before. Yeah, let's just keep attacking. We have to get that Ujin under control. And it looks like we might actually do that. Oh, and thankfully they're going to allow us to. I don't think they realize that doesn't hit Den of the Bugbear. They're worried about another Pithing Needle, which is understandable. All right, so 1 to them, 3 to Ujin, and you know, it kind of looks like maybe we might be able to win this, despite the fact that they've had Tron for a while. I think that's where we pack it in. There's not a lot we can do here. Yep. Okay, match 4, game 3, and same sideboarding as before. Let's go. And oh, you don't mind if I do? We're on the play with 2 Magi. This might render the Urza Saga mostly useless, but I think that's a price we are willing to pay. Let's just get our damage game going. I'm not going to risk it this time. Not like against, because unlike Mono Blue Tron, there's just such a good chance. Although even Mono Blue Tron, I probably was like being unnecessarily. All right, let's see. It might be too tempting for them to just crack the Relic on 1. Yeah, well, we're gonna do this. That's fine. Tap Pyrite. I think they crapped the O-Stone on my turn. Okay, never mind. We weren't expecting. Yeah, I won't do that. Okay, please. Okay, good. If they don't have a payoff, which I don't think they do, yeah, then I think we're in good shape. Oh, but we just go for the win. Yeah, because we managed to deal so much damage. Alrighty. Alright. Match 5. Game 1, let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a keep. Got the early Ragavanis. Oh, and this is Omnath Control. Okay, buckle up, folks. This one, I think, is going to be a ride. I think they're going to play March of Otherworldly Light. Ooh. Alrighty, yep. Okay, I guess we'll play this. And I guess we'll play this. We didn't play Experimental Frenzy because if we revealed anything other than Ragavan, we would have felt bad for not being able to play Ragavan. Not bad, yeah, keep. Let's go. Alright, fine, jeez. If you say so, if you must. Alrighty, looks like they're a little bit kind of running low. Okay, that's fine. At the end of the day, no biggie. Let's play this again and play Bomat Courier. Attack the Teferi. This actually seems like Azorius control, not Urion control, not 4-color Urion control, which is fine by us because historically, whether it's aggro or mid-range, we've always had, this has always been one of our better matchups. Whereas Omnath has always been a little bit dicier, to say the least. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's go. Let's try to crank out the tokens. Alrighty. I don't know if they realize I can one-shot the, I think we're definitely getting a Bomat. Yep. Let's see here. I'm surprised. I guess I went after Teferi because I could always just play Pyrite Spellbomb, and then that prevents them from bouncing. Because at the end of the day, they don't deal with the tokens; they're just in a world of hurt, and they need a Supreme Verdict, or it ain't gonna go well. And I think the answer is it's not gonna go well. You know, I could have attacked with Bugbear, but I guess I want to keep my mana open. And for good reason. Unfortunately, this brings it down to 4, but still well worth it, in my humble opinion. Alrighty. JC. That bounces the token. Yeah, we're gonna attack with the Bugbear. I think we could just go after them, no? In retrospect, we could have gone after them and then bring them down to 2, but, you know, it's still pretty good. Oh yeah, because we actually still could have won by just fetching Pyrite Spellbomb and then cracking the Ramunap. Alright. Alright, match 5, game 2. So we definitely take out Searing Blaze. I think Magus is a pretty good game against this. I don't know that we need all 4 relics, but we're going to leave 2 in. And we're going to bring Bag of Holding and Pithing Needle in, and I think that's a pretty good. Bag of Holding is mostly just a better relic when we don't have to worry about their graveyard. And I guess we get to see what Bag of Holding can do. Let's go. Hopefully they don't play Ambush Viper. Alright, that's fine. At least that means maybe they don't hit. What's it called? Wall of Omens is a very odd card, but you know, it is what it is. I guess we're going to play this while we can, right? Well, they're tapped out. Let's do it. We'll probably finish with... I'm going to do that just in case. Alrighty. They are free. Oh, I think we're definitely doing this while they are tapped out. Yeah, they probably block, but we can still get a token through there, so not too bad. Pithing Needle. Alright, let's see what we can do. We can really start cranking out the tokens now. Ooh, Wandering Emperor. There's 2 tokens out of nowhere. Pretty good. And I think we have to name Teferi. And then hit Wandering Emperor with Pyrite Spellbomb. But this is not the situation we wanted to find ourselves in. Alrighty. Let's do this. Alright, we kill that, and then I think we have to play Magus. I disagree. We should have played Magus. We should have played Magus, I'm telling you. That if we lose this game, that's where we lost the game. We should have played Magus right there. Would it have? I mean, if they had another Solitude, they had an out. But if not, that might have just locked him out. It was worth losing our Urza Saga there, without I think any hesitation. Because now they can just counter it, which they wouldn't be able to do if it was already in play. Obviously. Let's see here. Any Urion. Plus they wouldn't be able to. Yeah, they could still play Urion, but still. Alright, let's see. Dress down. That actually is also one thing that really almost wins the game for them. We have to get that off the table. You know, realistically, we should just crack Bag of Holding in a turn. I don't know what I'm thinking, not doing that. I guess they've got so many creatures in play. Please bounce the tokens. Please bounce now. Bouncing the tokens would have been so cool. Why aren't you cool? Alrighty. Excusez-moi. I think we're going to try to block one of the tokens. Galvanic Blast the other, but at some point we got to deal with the Urion. Okay, this is Solitude. Or just that. Alrighty. We just draw too many lands. There's nothing we can do here. Now, we still could have sacked Bag of Holding, but I don't think. We sort of just had a bunch of 1/1s that aren't super useful. Let's see here. As you can see, though, Bag of Holding, let's just tear through our deck. So there is that. Yeah. Alright, match 5, game 3, and no further sideboarding. Man, not playing that Magus when they were tapped out and they didn't have any white mana available, not good. Let's not make the same mistake again, and let's go for it. I'm not cracking if that's too early because I don't want to necessarily reduce my chances of drawing a land as small as that might be. Let's do this. Alrighty. Well, let's start with the Experimental Frenzying. Oh man. We get to really pile on the 1-drops. No Bomat, that's fine. Oh man. Oh man. Let's go. I have a feeling they're gonna play Supreme Verdict, which is fine. Fish would have drawn a land. That's what it is. Alrighty. Let's go. Actually, we basically got lethal just with this. If we play Lightning Bolt and Pyrite Spellbomb, which we can actually just win with just Lightning Bolt and Pyrite Spellbomb now. And that is the trophy. Oh man. Well. Post-league wrap up, and well, we went 10-5, 5-0, but 10-5. But you know, at the end of the day, a 2-1 is just as good for a 2-1 multiplied by 5 is just as good for a trophy as a 2-0 multiplied by 5. And at the end of the day, I think this kind of illustrates one of the reasons why I like Companionless sometimes, is that sure, I may not necessarily sweep the matches with as one-sided victories, as sometimes having a full grind Obosh type package allows me in matchups where I can just like Obosh just gives me so much more consistency, a very powerful just extra card. But but on the other hand, even if we don't take clean sweeps as much, at the end of the day, having access to we didn't get to see really much Chalice action, but having access to, I don't know if we even played Ratchet Bomb that much. I guess we played it against, I guess we played it in the Murktide matchup. No, it was, can't remember which matchup was it. Prowess, yeah, I guess we did play it in Prowess. We didn't really get that much action on a Ratchet Bomb. So, okay, look, at least for this league, but having solid answers to Cascade, to Rhino specifically because of Ratchet Bomb, to combo decks like Ad Nauseam because of Chalice on 0, 1, and to some extent 2 because of Thassa. You know, like having these obviously is good if we run into the matchups, but even if not, we can still eke out these wins. 2-1, we do have the tools to do that. And I do have to say Searing Blaze is an all-star. If we could play Searing Blaze in the Obosh version, I almost certainly would. So it is nice that we have access to that. And what can I say? I mean, you can't really argue with, I think, just what this deck brings to the table, which is insane beats, excellent consistency, the ability to grind. Not necessarily as fast of a clock as maybe traditional burn, but honestly, it's not that far behind. It's maybe like half or even a quarter of a turn behind. And for giving up just that tiny little bit of speed, I feel like we just gained so much grind potential. I don't know what to say. Saga burn, I like it. I think for my purposes at least, I think I solved the issue I had with with burn decks not being able to grind. And to some extent consistency issues as well. I love it. All right, hope you all enjoyed, everybody. Take care, and until next time, I definitely feel good about this. Take care. All right, final little addendum to the video. So you know what I think I'm going to do just because I'm not sure if the Obosh if the last version of I'm not sure if my Metalcraft what do you call it, Galvanic Blast Obosh video went up. I think it probably did because I know I did record it, and I can't necessarily think of a reason why I wouldn't upload it at this time. But either way, in case it wasn't uploaded, I had a version that was basically similar to the to this companionless version I'm just playing right now. Just it was playing Obosh, and instead of Searing Blaze, it was playing Bone Crusher Giant. And instead of the Shatterskull Smashings, it's playing Spike Kill Hazard like we are in this version as well. And then, of course, obviously, it had to drop the Bag of Holding for Obosh in the sideboard, and of course the Ratchet Bombs were Blast Stones, and the Chalices were Shattering Sprees. Obviously, a big difference there. But so here's the deal, okay? I think I'm actually gonna just return the Obosh burn deck to this version here that we're looking at. I mean, what I said in the last video still holds, that I feel like that's almost kind of as good as it gets. But I actually kind of, on reflection, I actually think that the companionless version is mostly just, I don't want to say strictly, but I think the companionless version is mostly better than that specific Obosh version, just because I was just so impressed with what Searing Blaze brought to the table. And honestly, Obosh, we've got so much to do with our mana anyway, with Urza Sagas and with Experimental Synthesizers and whatnot. You know, and with Bugbears and with cracking Ramunap Ruins. There's always so much to do with our mana. The reality is we don't necessarily need to lean on Obosh, although obviously it is helpful in some matchups. It can be game-winning. But ultimately, more than anything, it was just being so impressed with Searing Blaze that I think that the companionless version, it's so similar to that Obosh version that I think if I want to play something like that Obosh, you know, which was basically the exact same version, just with Bone Crusher for the most part instead of Searing Blaze, without Obosh, but with better, in my opinion, better sideboard cards. I just feel like, yeah, if I want to play, something like that, I think the companionless version just kind of edges it out, and there isn't necessarily a lot of reason to reach for Obosh when the companionless version is available. But I really like also having this more straightforward burn version. Yeah, I don't have Galvanic Blast, but we also did get to see that Galvanic Blast wasn't always consistently 4 damage. It did do 4 damage quite a bit, and I do think in the companionless version it is primo. But I think that we also found out that it's not like one of those cards that you can't justify not running it. I think you can, and I think, as we saw with the previous 5-0 we got with the Obosh Saga burn list, I think this version was pretty good. I think, I mean, it was just so clean, just basically everything costing 1 mana. This version felt super buttery smooth too. So I think that this is going to be more of a burn. In fact, I might even rename the Companionless Saga burn deck. I might rename that. And the screenshot we're looking at was from the trophy from the last last trophy with the Obosh burn league. You know, before the one with Metalcraft, before the one with Galvanic Blast, if the one with Galvanic Blast went up. And back then, of course, I had not trophied yet with the Saga, with the Companionless Saga burn. But I might actually rename the Companionless Saga burn into Saga Aggro, because it's I feel like if you're not playing Lava Spike, you can't really call it a burn deck. I don't know. That could be faulty thinking. But anyway, just thought I'd update you all. For now, I really want to also play more of an actual burn deck instead of an aggro deck, and I like this. So hope you all enjoy. Oh, another reason why I kind of like how this kind of differentiates in the space a little bit is I think we can justify in the other deck we have 8. We can justify not running Galvanic Blast partially because Galvanic Blast, I think one of the main things it brings to the table is that the upside for 4 damage is nice, but honestly, I think the main advantage it brings to the table is the fact that it's another answer to Ragavan on turn 1, while also being potentially 4 damage later in the game. But the fact that it's also just 2 damage, you know, deals with Ragavan on turn 1 is pretty good. And if we're playing Shatterskull Smashing, I think we definitely need access to that. But one thing I like about this deck is that Spikefield Hazard kind of plays that role of being able to hit like a Ragavan on turn 1, so we don't necessarily maybe have to reach as much. Not that Galvanic Blast is a reach in any way, but just, you know, I don't know, I like this version too. So I think I'm going back to this version with the Obosh version. And with that, I've trophied with, as you can see, I've basically trophied with almost all of these Obosh, mono red mid-range and Obosh variants. I just need to trophy now with the Sagavan Fable deck, which I'm not sure if I showed that to you all yet, but we'll see it soon enough. And the Dress to Kill variant with Chandra. I think I did trophy with a previous Dress to Kill variant, but I think it was one that didn't play Ramunap Ruins or something. Honestly, it's not that makes that big of a difference. And I think I'm on 2 Horizon lands now again with that version. We'll see. But anyway, and other than that, I think I basically trophied with all the red versions. I'm kind of on a quest to like have trophied with at least each one of these different versions. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and just thought I'd give that this final little addendum and final little update. Take care, everybody.